Hello my dear students. Today we are going to discuss all the important questions and answers from the chapter Discovering Tut. This is an article which is written by A.R. Williams. So without any delay, let's start with question number 1. Question number 1. Why was Howard Carter's way of investigation resented? Students, this is very important from examination point of view. Therefore, put an asterisk mark for this. Okay. In value points, you all are going to write Howard Carter was a British archaeologist who investigated Tut's mummy in 1922. Okay, these two are important points from this line. He discovered the mummy in 3 nested coffins. Here in the second line, 3 nested coffins is important. When he reached the mummy, he faced problems. Here, what are the problems that you have to highlight? Okay, the ritual resin had solidified the mummy, cementing it to the bottom of the solid gold coffin. So here, the problem was that because of ritual resin, which was used for mummifying the body of Tutankhamun, that glue or resin had solidified Tut's mummy and it had attached the mummy to the bottom of the coffin. Okay, that was the problem of Howard Carter. Because of this, he was not able to take out the mummy from the coffin easily. He tried to make the mummy loose by putting the mummy in the scorching sunshine, but in vain. From his end, he tried his level best to take out mummy and loosen the resin which had solidified the body of Tutankhamun, but it was vain effort. Okay, it was futile, it was useless effort. Let's add a few more points here. Next you will add, then he asked his men to chisel away the material from beneath the limbs and trunk. After that, he asked his men to dissect the body of Tutankhamun in order to do the research work. So here, these are the points that you have to underline, okay? Alright. In this process, the mummy's head was removed and every major joints were severed. Here, in order to do the research work, he dissected the body of Tutankhamun. The result of Carter's attempt was the miserable condition of the mummy. The mummy was in miserable condition because the major joints were dissected. Okay, it was not a whole body now. All the major joints were cut for the investigation. Carter's method was resented because he did more harm to the mummy rather than any good. After this process of severing different joints of the body of Tutankhamun, the information that he received was less than the damage that he did to the body. Question number 2. Do you think advanced technology gives us conclusive evidence of past events? It does give us conclusive evidence of past events. Advanced technology provides us with conclusive evidence of the past. The mummies of the ancient Egypt have always attracted man to delve deep into past and bring out facts about the life of those buried in the dark. Because of new technologies, because of new modern or advanced technologies, we are able to get the information about our past, how our ancestors used to perform their activities of life and death. Archaeology has changed substantially. The way which was followed in ancient period, it is not same. Even archaeology's research work has changed substantially, entirely. New technology focuses less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and the mysteries of death. In ancient period, the treasures which were kept inside the pyramid was of extreme importance, but the scenario has changed in modern period. Now people are interested in knowing the fascinating facts about ancient lifestyle rather than the material that they kept inside the pyramids. Next point will be CT scanning machine has proved to be a boon to modern people. It is able to diagnose the problem that occurs inside the body. Hundreds of X-ray in cross section are out together to create a three-dimensional virtual body. Through CT scanning, virtual image is created, and by comparing it with a normal one, the experts will be able to know whether there is problem or not. This technology explains the difficult questions like how a particular person died and how old he was at the time of his death. Because of CT scanning, it will be easier to find out whether the reason of the death of a person was a normal one or it was something else. Not only that, the experts will be able to tell how old was he, what was the age of the deceased person. A team of specialists probes into different matters. A team of specialists, they will try to find out different matters related to the death and age of the person. And the same thing has happened with Tutankhamun's body as well. I hope question number 2 is clear. Let's move ahead. Next important question is, who was King Tut? Why did his body generate so much interest? This is important for long question answer. So please put asterisk mark for this as well. Here, the first point that you will write is, King Tut was a teenage ruler of Egypt who ruled between 1358 BC to 1340 BC. His full name was Tutankhamun. His full name was Tutankhamun because he followed god Amun, A-M-U-N. Later on, he changed it to Aten. He died in the prime of his life. At very early age, he died. He was a very great ruler. At very early age, he was able to provide a very standard lifestyle to his countrymen. And countrymen loved him a lot as well. But his sudden demise created lots of curiosity. He was the last of the heirs of the family that ruled Egypt for centuries. In Egypt, he was the ruler who was the last heir. Heir means successor. Successor. So his ancestors ruled Egypt for centuries, and it was he who had become the last king or pharaoh of the dynasty. He died under mysterious circumstances. When he died, he was very young. Therefore, people thought it could be a murder. He was laid to with gold ornaments. As it was customary, he was adorned with gold ornaments and he was mummified. Though he reigned for about 9 years, he restored the rules and regulations set by his forefathers. See, in the chapter we learnt that his ancestors followed god Aten. There was another king who was Aten who changed entire system and followed god Amun. Alright, but when Tutankhamun became the king, he again altered the system and he started following god Aten. Therefore, he changed his name to Tutankhamun later on. In 1922, Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile search. So in the year 1922, after many centuries, okay, see, he ruled in 14th BC, alright, around 14th BC, and his tomb or pyramid was found in 1922. So after many centuries, his pyramid was discovered by Howard Carter. Before that, there were other archaeologists who searched for his tomb, but because of so many reasons, his pyramid could not be found. He was so fortunate that he found Tutankhamun's pyramid, and the research work started after that. Students, you have to include few more points because it is for long question answer. So the value points that you should include are: he took months to record the pharaoh's funerary treasures after investigating 3 nested coffins. In the chapter, we learned that Tutankhamun was mummified in 3 coffins. When he took out coffins, he found gold ornaments, his garments, eatables were also there inside his coffin. The researchers were amazed at the rich royal collection found in the grave. And they used to believe in afterlife. Therefore, the riches with which they were leading their life in when they were alive, in the same way they were mummified. The clothes, daily required items, food, utensils, ornaments, everything were buried along with their dead body. Okay. This collection caused a sensation. The collection, the royal collection, gold ornaments, utensils, and other royal items caused a sensation among the archaeologists. People showed a lot of interest in it. People, not only archaeologists but visitors as well, showed lots of interest in it because they wanted to see, they wanted to have a glance on the material that ancestors of Tutankhamun used at that period. They indulged in guesswork as regards his disease and age at the time of his death. They started speculating what could be the reason of his death. Was it a disease or it was a murder? At what age he died? They were curious to know what had happened to the king. So what had happened? What is the exact reason of the demise of this great ruler had become a question for entire visitors and archaeologists as well. Therefore, this mummy created lots of interest in common people, and the quest, the thirst to know the answer is still alive. Even now, when we read about pharaohs, mummies, pyramids, we wish to go there and see with our own eyes the structure of pyramid, the making of pyramid. It is itself a mysterious thing. How they used to make it. Not only that, how they used to make it so that it is still intact. That is question number 1. And how they used to keep the mummies, because of which still we are able to see the remnant of their body and their culture. So these 3 things attracted people, and it is attracting people, and it will be attracting people in future as well. So this will conclude your answer. Let's move ahead. Next question is, explain this statement. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life. This is also important question, students, and this is frequently asked in the examination. So put asterisk mark to this as well, and let's discuss the answer. The Egyptian Mummy Project has so far recorded almost 600 mummies. But out of the 600 mummies, Tutankhamun's mummy was extremely important. The next phase of this project is to scan the mummies with a portable CT scanning machine. So after finding mummies, the second step was to do the CT scanning of the remnant of the mummies. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned. So in this process of CT scanning, it was King Tut who headed the culture. Alright, after the finding of Tutankhamun's body, it was he who went through CT scanning machine. He had moved in a royal way in death as in life ahead of his countrymen. So the way he was respected, the way he ruled dynasty, in the same way here also he was ahead in ruling the process of CT scanning as well. And as he was famous in his life, he was famous in his death as well, because he was able to attract people towards him even after his death. And why it is this statement is said, okay, like King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life. So usually CT scanning machine scans living being so that the disease can be found out and the treatment can be done. But here contrary was happening. A body which was dead since centuries, all right, he was being taken to the CT scanning machine for scanning. So that is why it is said Tutankhamun is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life. Okay, remember it. The modern world is curious to know about his life and mysterious death in the prime of his life. So everybody is curious to know what had happened to King Tut, why did he die and what age he died. Okay, this point we have already discussed in earlier question. Since the discovery of the tomb in 1922, the modern world has shown a keen interest in his life and mysterious death. So because of this reason, he had become very famous. And with the introduction of CT scanning machine, it was first task that was done so that modern generation can understand, can get the information about earlier culture. Let's move to next question. What idea do you form of the style of burial of the kings of the ancient Egypt? This is short question answers. So these are the points that you have to include. Let me underline the value points. The kings of the ancient Egypt had a lavish style of living. Okay, this is the value point that you have to mention in your answer at first. Gold was the main ornament of these kings. Without gold, the process was not complete, be it a living being or a dead body. Even in their graves, they were buried with the richest royal collection like artifacts in gold, the gold coffin, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, seats for the fingers and toes, iconic inner coffin and mask, all made of gold, all made of pure gold. So these were the things which were made up of gold and kept inside the coffin to complete the burial process. This shows that ancient people led a lavish lifestyle. Few more value points are: the shrouds were decorated with garlands of olive leaves, okay, wild celery, lotus petals and cornflowers. All these points you have to remember in order to enrich your answer. Students, please put in some effort to keep these words in mind. Not only the expensive things, even the everyday things of use like board games, razors, linen undergarments and cases of food and wine were also put with the dead bodies. These were the items which were required for the burial ceremony. So along with gold items, They used to keep all these items, and your answer must contain all these points. Let's move towards short question answers. Question is, who was Howard Carter? What was his contribution? So your answer should contain, Howard Carter was a British archaeologist. It was he who discovered Tut's tomb and removed Tut's mummy to investigate it. His efforts saved Tut's mummy from robbers and thieves who might have destroyed it to extract its golden ornaments. Robbery was frequent in tombs. It is because of the riches with which mummies were buried. So, if we see it from other side, even though he destroyed the body of Tutankhamun, he saved the body from the robbers, because the same thing would have done by robbers in order to take out gold from his body if they would have come to this pyramid. So in this way he saved Tutankhamun's body. What happened on 5th January 2005? On 5th January 2005, Tut's mummy was subjected to a CT scan to probe the so far unsolved mysteries related to the young ruler's life and death, who died more than 3,300 years ago. So this was the day when Tutankhamun's body was taken for CT scanning, and the mysteries which were unsolved were about to be cleared through the result of CT scanning. So that is why this date is important. What did the tourists do? The tourists, the general people who were interested in visiting pyramids and tomb of Tutankhamun, what did they do? Let's see. The tourists from far and near had come to pay their respect. Okay. They gazed at the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at the gilded face of Tut. Here, tourists had come from all the places who were interested in visiting the pyramid of Tutankhamun. They paid respect to the late king. Not only that, they looked at the murals. Murals are wall paintings. Okay, wall paintings inside the tomb of Tutankhamun, and the face which was painted with gold. They looked at it. Some visitors read from guidebooks while others stood silently. See, visitors, they used to look to the book and they used to match whether the things which were written in the book is exactly the same or not. Next question. What were the contents of Tut's tomb? I have already discussed this point in long question answers, so I will go very quickly. The contents of Tut's tomb include the richest royal collection in gold, in addition to the everyday things of use like board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine, etc. Next important question is, why did Ray Johnson describe Akhenaten as wacky? Wacky means mad. Okay. Amenhotep IV changed his name to Akhenaten and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten. 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 He attacked Amun, a major god, smashed his images and closed his temples. These deeds had led Ray Johnson to call Akhenaten as wacky. In the history of Egypt, he was regarded as a wacky king. It is because he changed his capital from Thebes to Akhetaten. This is also called Amarna. Okay, Amarna. Akhenaten is also called Amarna. Okay, from Thebes, he changed the capital to Akhenaten or Amarna. Then he smashed all the Amun god temples because he was a follower of Aten god. Alright, so because of these reasons, Ray Johnson considered he was a wacky king. Next question. Why did a guard joke nervously and said, "Curse of the pharaohs"? Here, the answer should include Tut's mummy was to be CT scanned, but the $1 million scanner could not work because of sand in a cooler fan. The guard thought that it was the curse of the pharaoh. See, what is pharaoh's curse? We need to understand at first this one. Here, curse of pharaoh was, whoever will disturb the eternal sleep of the king who is resting inside the tomb, they will have to face the consequences if they will disturb the eternal sleep of the person. Okay, whoever will disturb the eternal sleep of the deceased person, misfortune will fall upon them. That was Pharaoh's curse. Alright, and when CT scanning machine stopped working, the guard told that maybe this is because of the activity that the research worker were doing to Tutankhamun's body. What they were doing, they had taken out the body for CT scanning. Therefore, maybe the pharaoh is angry. That is why, because of this effect, the $1 million CT scanning machine stopped working. Alright, but it had proved to be wrong because after a while the machine started working normally. Okay. Next question. Why was Jahi Hawass relieved? Here, first question that you need to answer is, who was Jahi Hawass? Jahi Hawass was Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. He was relieved because he was under great pressure that something might go wrong. During this process, something might go wrong. He was having premonitions, but everything was successfully operated. Okay, and this relieved the tension of Jahi Hawass. Next question. What was the pharaoh's curse? Did it prove to be ominous? Let's see the answer. Pharaoh's curse was that misfortune would befall upon all those who would disturb his eternal sleep. His means the person who is resting inside the tomb. Okay, here not only archaeologists but other people are also disturbing the sleep of Tutankhamun. Not only Tutankhamun but other mummies as well. Okay, particularly Tutankhamun because we are talking about CT scanning of this pharaoh. So people had disturbed eternal sleep of pharaoh Tutankhamun. Therefore, CT scanning machine stopped working. It was believed to be pharaoh's curse, but this proved to be wrong. The dark sky and the stormy wind were thought to be ominous on January 5th, 2005, when Tut's body was being taken out for CT scan. I hope the answer is clear. Next question is, what do the funerary treasures tell us about the belief of ancient Egyptians? Let's see the answer. Funerary treasures in Tut's tomb included numerous artifacts in gold, things of daily use like oils, food, wine, clothes, board games, etc. They tell us that people in ancient Egypt believed in life after death. That was why they buried these things with the dead person's so that they might not have to face any problem in absence of these things they loved when they come to life again. Alright, they used to believe that there is life after death also, and in order to lead life after death, they require all these items. Therefore, they included everything that they used to use in their day-to-day life. Next question. What startling discovery was made about Tut's mummy 40 years after its discovery? Let's see the answer. When an anatomy professor x-rayed Tut's mummy after 40 years, he discovered that beneath the resin over the mummy's chest, his breastbones and front ribs were missing. Okay. Anatomy professor, when he examined the body of Tutankhamun, then he found that his breastbones and front ribs were missing. Okay. Next question. King Tut's demise was a big event, even by royal standards. What does the author want to suggest by this comment? Let's see the answer. King Tut's death must have been a great shock, an event that would have ushered in drastic political changes. Obviously, a young king of very powerful dynasty dies suddenly, so it is going to create chaos inside the dynasty. Alright, the same thing has happened, and people were not able to accept that he had died at very early age. So they started probing. It might be a murder, it might be a conspiracy of opposition party. Right? That was why Tut received a grand burial. Because he was last king and he was loved by his countrymen, he received a grand burial. His mummified body was buried with costly gold treasures and all the things he might have loved during his lifetime. So, as it was customary, all the items that he used were put inside the tomb so that he can lead his life after his death smoothly. Now this is another important question. Please put asterisk mark. Tut took a drastic step during his reign. What was that? The first point will be, on becoming the king, Tut restored the ancient religion in Egypt. Okay, religion of god Amun. He changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. Earlier, his name included Aten god, but later on he removed Aten and used his forefathers' god's name, that is Amun. He started the worship of Amun in place of the worship of the sun disk or sun god. This concludes the question answers of discovering Tut. So I hope it was helpful for you all. Children, if you require anything else, do let me know in the comment section.